I first found out about Joseph Bologne, Chevalier of Saint Georges, in 2018 after we produced Farinelli and the King on Broadway. I was director of music at Shakespeare's Globe, and Margaret Casely Hayford, then the board chair of the Globe, and Chichi Nwanoku, who was the artistic director of the Chineke Orchestra, came to me with an idea of doing a play about Saint Georges. At 37 years old, I had never even heard of him. How could this be? How could it be that after studying music professionally for 37 years, I had never come across this unbelievable composer, violinist, fencer, and crusader against slavery? It just seemed impossible, not to mention embarrassing. So I began to research, why is it that in my music education, I was never taught about him? This question has started a line of inquiry that's taken me right here to this day. 2 years later, Saint Georges has very happily taken over my life. And understanding why it is that people like this get marginalized from whitewashed history has been an uncomfortable obsession. Now here we are a couple years later, and the play is the centerpiece of a whole strand of advocacy around Saint Georges. Why it is that Black and Latinx musicians are so underrepresented in classical music. What can we do to help? Every orchestra that produces the Chevalier, in concert form, when actors come and read the scenes in front of an orchestra, will join what's called the National Alliance for Audition Support, which is run by the Sphinx organization in Detroit. They believe that musicians need help to audition for major orchestras, so that Black and Latinx musicians can join the staff, the composer ranks, the conductors, and, critically, the musicians themselves, so that gradually, over time, orchestras start to reflect the audience they seek and deserve. Why is it that the representation is so low? Is it the same reason that we aren't taught about here, this first major composer of African descent? Perhaps. But it's complicated. For example, many artists were truncated by the French Revolution. War, in that case the Napoleonic Wars, short-circuited so many innovations, so much intelligence, so many artists. See, for example, if you can name a famous French composer between 1770 and Berlioz in 1830. Can you? So it's complicated. It is, of course, about race, but it is also about war, about wealth inequality, and about class. What I'm attempting to do with my play is explore all of these subjects, written in today's language, conflating the fervor of the French Revolution with the fight against authoritarianism and wealth inequality unfolding today. It is today's ills that we need to solve. The years before the French Revolution provide an intriguing lens. The banks crashing, mercenaries from other countries being hired to stand guard, to make war upon peaceful protest. All of this was happening back then. And all of this is connected to our fraught conversation here in 2020 about race.